There we go.
Okay.
All right. Let me say it again. Anybody got happy bucks to share tonight? Nobody's happy? Well, I'll share one. I've been on this new club creation team, and we've got it. I finally got me going a little bit on it anyway, and I'm in the process of getting a new club started here in Holly, Michigan, actually. So, Roy might be calling you on that after you get through your recovery from your operation. So, if we get wheels going underneath that one, so. Deb's on. Hey, Deb, you want to take over? She's silent. There you go. Deb is our
My
club president,
camera,
Stephanie.
my camera is not working, so please continue down this road. I've had a very long day, so I can't wait to hear Stephanie speak. I'm just going to focus on that. So thanks, guys.
Deb is our club president, Stephanie.
Oh, awesome.
I'm
Awesome.
I'm the
Awesome.
I'm the secretary, trying not to be in any more of the leadership positions,
Okay.
but we'll see
Okay.
as time goes
So,
on. Okay.
so I have to figure out how to get a dollar to you. I have a happy dollar that has to do with club creation. I found out that the Rotary Club of Philadelphia is thinking about resurrecting the Rotaract Club at the University of Pennsylvania. Well, I'm a grad of UPenn, so I called the president of that Rotary Club and said, "Hey, I'm a few hours away. If you want me to Zoom, you want me to come over, let's make that happen." So we may get another Rotaract Club at UPenn.
Very cool.
Hmm.
Very cool. I
Jerry,
will.
I'll throw one in. I'm going to throw it in on behalf of my wife who started a new Rotary Club.
Oh,
It's
fantastic.
a cause-based club focused on women and girl empowerment. It chartered with about, I think it was 24 new members, and they're already off and running on the growth side. So I think it's going to be a
Awesome.
big deal.
Very cool. Anybody else?
No, just a reminder, we do have a Venmo account for Happy Bucks now.
Yeah, I
Okay.
will. I'll email that after the meeting's over. We have a
Okay.
Venmo account that we can use for those, and so I have
Perfect.
it. I hit the button just about every meeting. Anybody else to share anything tonight? David's coming on board. David is our president nominee. Stephanie, our president elect, has got caught up in a business meeting tonight, unfortunately, but she's
Okay.
attending a pre-pets information tomorrow morning, or yeah, tomorrow morning, I guess. There's something going on with our district with that.
Okay.
All righty. So and just to give you a little bit of introduction, like I said, we're coast to coast. You got Rob's over there in Maryland, Tennessee's there with Tom, Michigan is Rory and I, but we're on both ends of the state. Over there in Virginia, Keith, Jim is down in South Carolina or North Carolina. I keep mixing those two up. And then David's down there in Tennessee as well as Tom. And then Kirk, I don't know if I know Kirk. Kirk, you want to come on for a second and say hi?
Sure, I'm driving, so I don't have my
Oh, I know
camera
Kirk.
on. I met you guys in Calgary. I'm from Avon, New York, which is 7120 just south of Rochester. And so this is my first time. I wanted to put in a happy buck for this being my first join in here. I saw that Stephanie was speaking. I'm actually skipping my own personal Rotary meeting tonight to see Stephanie. So there we go.
Wow.
Awesome. Very
Uh-oh, no
cool.
pressure. No pressure. Okay,
No,
Kirk.
and that's I was helping a buddy out uh, doing some construction work, and so I decided I'd blow off Rotary altogether. And then I figured if I had time, I would jump on this call. And it got dark, so we finished, and here I look forward to it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for joining us. All right. Chris, Stephanie is actually your guest. You got to her before I did, so I'm going to let you do the introduction.
Sherry, I'm at restaurant very loud, so I think you need to be the internet.
Yeah, you're breaking up. Okay. Chris has been down in Florida at his Florida house. I think he's on his way back up to North Carolina. Is that true?
No, I'm actually in Texas at the large club conference.
Oh my goodness.
Hmm.
You travel more than I? No, maybe not. I've been on the travel circuit quite a bit this year, Stephanie. So I think I'm actually outside of Michigan more than I've been in Michigan and
Not as
actually
much as I have.
yeah, you got that. You got us beat, I'm sure. You still and I guess you're maybe still traveling and probably
A
gonna do
little
for
bit.
us some time. Okay.
Yeah, a little bit. Okay.
Well, folks, I'm going to introduce Stephanie as a dear friend, first and foremost. Okay. I met her, oh my God, I think it's been 22 or 23 years ago now. She was my trainer and when I was going through the governor line. And I met her originally in Madison, Wisconsin. Before he came on, Tom, and I'll share with everybody else, Tom was saying that I need to have up Pittsburgh Steelers background because to honor Stephanie. And I says, I should go find my cheesehead hat. And Tom thought that was offensive, but Stephanie and I share that. So our class were the cheesehead class actually, and so we had a blast way back then, and it's been wonderful. I think every international convention that I've been to since, I've run into Stephanie somewhere, and we always have time to sit and chat. And she's a beautiful person, a wonderful friend. Our most recent international president. She's probably getting a little breather right now, but probably not too much. We'll see. And I'm just looking forward to hearing her share her presentation that I've got setting up here when the time comes. Stephanie, I'm going to give the floor to you.
All right, thank you, Jerry. I'm really excited to be able to spend some time with you all tonight because every time I have an opportunity to talk about my year and show some of these pictures, I relive all this fabulous stuff that I went through. To say that the magic of Rotary Year was like no other is an understatement. But it really was not just one year. It actually started when I was nominated. So I had 6 months as a nominee, I had a full year as an elect, and then I had a full year as president. And during that presidential time, I made it to 130 countries. And the beauty of that is I met with Rotarians everywhere, and it was just the best. Um, People said, well, didn't you get tired? You know what? Meeting with Rotarians excites me and motivates me. And so, no, there wasn't any tiredness. I got enough time now that I'm back home in Pennsylvania that if I want to be tired, I can be tired here. But I really can't do that either because now I'm a trustee and, in Rotary, there's no finish line. So you just move from one thing to another. So Jerry, go ahead and put up the PowerPoint and I'll talk about some of the things that happened during the year. Uh, we had an amazing year, all of us. Many times people will say, oh, your year, and well, it wasn't my year. It was Rotary Year 24-25, and I had a whole lot of people um, who did amazing things, and that's why the year was so special. Now, for those of you who are paying attention to the environment, you know that Rotary clubs around the world do a lot of environmental projects. This picture was taken in South America, and that's a tree that Paul Harris planted. And after they took this photo, they took me over to another section of this. It's actually located at a school. And I got to plant a tree. So 50 years from now, somebody will be standing next to my tree saying, hey, that's a tree that Stephanie planted. Next slide, Jerry. Now, in all honesty, the the PowerPoint should be titled "My Year as a World Leader" because in every place except North America, the Rotary president is considered a world leader. And I'll talk about some of that as we go through, but there are some administrative things that are required. Of course, as president, you run 4 board meetings. 2 of them in Evanston at our headquarters, 1 attached to the International Assembly, which currently happens to be in Orlando, Florida, and then 1 with the convention, which of course was in Calgary. So this was the first board meeting, and the gavel that I'm holding was actually hand carved by a Rotarian whose uncle served in Rotary years ago, and he presented that to Rotary, and so that's now a gift that we've left in the boardroom for all presidents to use. Next slide. You know that one of the things I talked about frequently during the course of the year was the power of clubs embracing peace building. And one of the easiest ways for clubs to show a community that Rotary is about peace building is to erect a peace pole. These are monuments, and they're placed in locations in communities where you get approval to do that. Could be in a park, could be at a school, could be at, some other location. And on all sides of the peace pole, the phrase, "May peace prevail on earth," is written, and sometimes in multiple languages, depending on what folks are in your community. Last year, I talked to Larry Strober, who is the director of the Rotary Peace Pole Project, and he said last year he shipped more than 2,600 peace poles around the world. And he's only one of the vendors. So I'm really proud that so many clubs said this is something that we can do and show our community what's going on. Next slide. I traveled to 3 different countries that were on the list for Americans not to go to. Not safe to travel. One of them was Pakistan. But when you travel to Pakistan, the government provides security and the local Rotarians actually provide security. So these are pictures of some of the guards. The guy on the left, the one that looks like a ninja, there were 4 of them, and they flanked me in the front and in the back. So someone said to me, "Well, were you afraid?" Hell no, look at that guy. There was nothing to be afraid of. And most of the time they had their fingers on the trigger. And you see the other one, back of his uniform says "one shoot, one kill." So they take security very seriously. And when you're traveling on the highway, they're motorcades. So, you've got police protection in front of the vehicle, behind you. So no, I wasn't afraid. The other places that I went, one was Macau, which is considered a territory of China. And the third one that was currently on that list, believe it or not, was Hong Kong. Okay, next slide. One of the joys of traveling was that every time I was in a location, I got to see members of the district governor class 24-25. So this is Nora. This was in Uruguay. Next slide. No matter where I went, no matter what time of the day I arrived, there was always a party at the airport or however I was getting there. It could be 3 o'clock in the morning and there were 30 Rotarians and they had balloons and banners and flowers and all sorts of welcome things. This one happened to be in Argentina. Next slide. In addition to meeting Rotarians, part of the role of being president is meeting with other leaders. So in my time as I traveled, I met with presidents, premiers, bishops, metropolitans, kings, crown princes, mayors. So the role of the president of Rotary is to really advance the cause of Rotary and to talk to these world leaders about what Rotarians do in their communities and how partnering and establishing relationships with Rotary is a way to move that community forward. Next slide. All right, now those of you that went to Calgary, it's a Western city, and digging through my photos, I found this picture that was taken, well, obviously years ago, at an amusement park here in Western Pennsylvania. So I gave it to Bryn Stiles, and little did I know he was going to use it on me on advertising that went around the world. I thought he was just going to, do something with it locally, but no, he used it around the world. So next slide. One of the things that happens at every convention is a recognition of those significant donors to our Rotary Foundation. And there are two events. One is called the Unity Ball that recognizes members of our Arch Clump Society. And then there's also another event, a major donor dinner, that happens at the same time. So this one was taken at the Arch Clump Society. The man right behind me was my personal sergeant, he and his wife Amy. That's Tim Lee and Amy. And then the other gentleman was my aide for the year, Tom Gump and his wife Catherine. Next slide. Sometimes when I visited Rotary clubs or districts, they built in some sightseeing. So it wasn't always, go to a Rotary meeting, go to another event, go here, go. Sometimes I got to go out and actually see parts of where I was. This picture was taken in Uruguay, one of the days that we spent in Uruguay. Next photo, please. This was at a zone institute that was held in Serbia. Serbia is part of the zone in zone 22, which has about 27 countries. So the people in this picture are from all over the place. They're from Turkey, they're from Israel, they're from Greece, they're from Serbia, they're from Montenegro. It was just an amazing event to have people from so many different places, but it really speaks to the internationality of Rotary. Next slide. This is at another institute where we were honoring the tall gentleman who had become a major donor. He was from Sweden. And the man to my other side is Frank Horn, who is currently a trustee along with me. And so we were giving him his crystal and his recognition at this institute. Next slide. Ecuador. Ecuador was a fabulous visit. Ecuador is so passionate about Rotary. Ecuador has Rotaract, it has Interact, it has Rota Kids, and I got to interact with all of them. It was simply an amazing visit because there was so much Rotary in Ecuador. Next slide. This picture was taken in Mauritius. Mauritius is an island, and the flowers and just, the weather was just simply amazing. Most of the events were held outdoors. It was a little tough on shoes because there's a lot of sand everywhere, but it was just a splendid location. Next slide. One of the things I got to do was speak at the UN Days in Geneva. There was a big Rotaract Europe meeting in Geneva. And in addition to having speakers about a variety of topics that had to do with the environment and peace building, we had a performance by Gabby Moreno. Some of you may recognize her name. She is a singer from Guatemala, and she is also an ambassador for Rotary. We have two kinds of ambassador programs. We have one, ambassadors who talk about polio, and we have started a second one, ambassadors who simply talk about Rotary and the great organization that it is. One of the unique things about this particular meeting, which reminds me about the power of our young people, after the conference, we were invited to go to a facility called CERN, and I forget what it is. It's a center for energy. It's a nuclear, like a science place. And so we went into the auditorium, and my colleague, another person on the board of directors, sat next to me, and behind us were 500 Rotaractors. So this young man comes out on the stage and he says, "Before we start the program, I wanted to give you an update on the Higgs boson." Well, I looked at my colleague and she looked at me, and out came Dr. Google because we had no idea what that was. All Rotaractors knew that it's this little tiny subparticle of an atom. I haven't been in a science class for years. So it just reminded me how smart our young people are, and we need to give them opportunities to use what they know and the passion that they have to help us advance Rotary. Next slide. There are two countries in the world that have a special event called The One. The One is a celebration of one person in the country who has gone above and beyond and has done amazing, amazing things for the entire country. This particular program was in Hong Kong. The other country that does it is the Philippines. And here I'm standing with various leaders from Rotary who are also part of putting on this special event. Next slide. This is the Crown Prince of Macedonia. Right before I left this location, I was able to pin this man as the newest Rotarian in the year in that moment for our year. He decided he wanted to become a Rotarian, so it was my honor to pin him. He's the Crown Prince of Macedonia. Okay, next slide. I think all of you know that during the year we also had one giant peace conference. Instead of scattered, we had one, and we held it at the location of our newest peace center in Istanbul, Turkey, where we had the opportunity to welcome the first class of peace fellows there. The peace center is located at Bahçeşehir University in Turkey. The peace center itself was limited to 1,000 people because that's all that the facility would hold. But we had 1,400 people register. And even though those 400 were told they were going to be on a wait list, many of them showed up in Turkey, recognizing that even though they couldn't get into the program, they could mix and mingle at night and, and during the breaks and, in the evening. And so we had a tremendous, tremendous number of people who were interested in Rotary and peace building. Next slide. Many times I was invited to speak at special events. This one happened to be a tribute to a former Rotary president, Richard King, and it was held in the state of California. And the man on the far right is Gary Huang, who was also a president of Rotary. And next to me is Mark Maloney, who served as a president of Rotary, and was during that year, the current Rotary Foundation chair. Next slide. This picture was taken in the Grand Egyptian Museum. When we were in Egypt, we had a chance to see the pyramids and do some of the sightseeing. But what was unusual to me was how much of the museum had empty exhibits. And I asked about that, and they said it's because the British took everything to London. So a lot of the Egyptian antiquities are in London. Next one, please. I mentioned that when I arrived somewhere, I was always greeted by Rotarians. The man next to me, Mahesh Kadbagi, was on the board of directors when I was a board member. And when he got to the location, he realized he'd forgotten what he had for me. And it happened to be Christmas time. So he grabbed part of the Christmas display and came up and said, "Welcome, dear." So that's how important it was for people to be able to say, "I'm here and I'm giving something to the president." Next slide, please. This was in Taiwan. What I found so intriguing about the Taiwanese is they take as their first name their profession. So the woman next to me was District Governor Healthy because she's a nurse. And the man next to me was past District Governor Surgeon because that was his profession. Their names are really hard to pronounce. So to mitigate that, they simply take their profession as their first name. Next slide. I had opportunity to be in 6 different countries in the African continent. This was in Uganda, and the man standing right next to me, Ken, is one of the local leaders, and the man next to him is actually a fellow who owns all, and I mean all, of the local television and radio. So everything we did in Uganda was televised, including this event where we were recognizing um, Rotarians for major donor recognition, for club excellence. So it was a wonderful, long evening, all televised. Next slide. This was in and close to my hometown. This is in the city of Pittsburgh. Uh, when I was first nominated, the Rotary Club of Pittsburgh reached out to our local media and said, "Hey, the local woman is going to become the president of Rotary." And they said she didn't start a fire, she didn't rob a bank, and she didn't kill anybody. We're not interested. And I said, well, I could do those things, but it wouldn't be a good look for Rotary. So we finally found out that one of the reporters for the CBS affiliate had an interest and did a lot of work for women's empowerment. And of course, that's one of the things that Rotary is engaged in. So that's how we got the hook and got her involved. And so that's how we ended up having a segment on our local media. Next slide. This was taken in Spain on our way to an event. It started raining, so it is true the rain in Spain is a real thing. So we had umbrellas that were advertising in Polio Now, so we took advantage of using them. Next slide. This was in Japan. Japan was, without a doubt, the most formal country that I visited. When we had events, banquets, lunches, whatever, I was held back. I had to be the last person to walk into the hall. And I didn't just go from the door up to my seat. They had a procession, and I had to go in and weaving in and out of the tables and back and forth until I got to my seat. And then when it was time to go, same thing. They rang a bell and announced that I was leaving, and I had to get up and had to go the same way. I had to weave through all the tables to get back out. So a very, very formal culture. Next slide. Every country I went to, except the US and Canada, had some kind of media for me to do. I was on public television, I was on local television, I was on radio, I was on podcasts. Um, this was, I think this was might have been in the Isle of Man, but everywhere I went. So it was just a fabulous opportunity to promote what Rotary is, because I always say that people don't know exactly what we do, or maybe they've heard of us, but they're not sure, and they think we're a bunch of old people that go out and eat. So I had opportunities to dispel that perception and to help people really understand what Rotary's about. Next slide. Here's another photo where I'm standing with the president. Next one. When I was at the Rotary Zone Institute in Serbia, came to find out that there is a Pittsburgh Steelers club in Serbia. So the local Rotaractors went to the club and they brought back a Pittsburgh Steelers shirt for me. That shirt says Chalichni, which means steel. So I decided to put it on. Next slide. One of the places where they built in some sightseeing was in Peru. And of course, this is Machu Picchu. I did have an opportunity to climb all over and to see it. It's truly an amazing place. It is high. You need to drink the tea or chew the leaves so that you don't get altitude sickness. They have 4 different kinds of paths that you can take. One is an hour, one is 4 hours, and it's just an amazing place. And to think that the Aztecs were able to use the sun in a way that they could build and take advantage of the sun. It was just truly, truly stunning to me. Amazing. Next slide. This is at that same district, but we had come down off of the mountain and now we were at a banquet. Next slide. This is in Huntsville, Alabama. They have a space museum and I just couldn't resist. They had this set up and I thought, okay, I'm going to get in there. One of the cool things that happened in Huntsville, though, was they said, you know, there's somebody that wants to come. We have this special event. We have these donors that want to come and see you. So we're going to take you to this room. Okay, so I went to this room and there's a knock on the door and I turn around and in walks John Stallworth, a former Pittsburgh Steeler. He lives in Huntsville. He was intrigued that the president of Rotary International was a Steeler fan, so he came to see me while I was in Huntsville. Next slide. Everywhere I went in Central and Eastern Europe, I met women that I've met along the way, and I always call these the Slavic sister photos. So the lady to my right is Anna from Russia, and the lady to my left is Kristina from Poland. Next slide. This was taken in a Serbian restaurant. Every restaurant, every cafe, every coffee shop has music and smoking. They don't believe in the no smoking laws yet in Serbia. So it was kind of difficult to sit in some of those enclosed spaces, but it certainly was fun. Okay, next slide. I call this the money shot. This is a shot that has Jennifer Jones, our first international president, and me as second. And the man behind us is one of our frequent sergeant at arms at our events. Next slide. This was taken when we arrived in Mongolia. And you can see from the signs that they have everything written in English as well as in Mongolian. Go ahead, next one. This was taken in Korea, and that's the welcoming committee in Korea. Korea was the one place that I had some difficulty with food. I don't like sushi. I don't like kimchi. I don't like century eggs, those black eggs. So I finally said, I like fish. Oh, okay. So little while goes by, and then they come and they put a plate in front of me, and it was still moving. It was octopus. And I said, it's not cooked. It's not cooked. And they said, oh, delicacy, stick to your mouth. I said, no, thank you. That's it. No, So I ended up eating pigeon in Korea because that's the only thing I could find on the tables that was remotely something that I could ingest. Next slide. When we were in Africa, we had a chance, this is in Uganda, we went to one of the chimp sanctuaries that Jane Goodall had set up, which was really, really interesting. We got to see the chimps, feed the chimps, watch them, and we got to plant trees, avocado trees, on the sanctuary grounds. Okay, next slide. This is in Makerere University in Kenya. On that particular day, they were having a walk for peace, and I was on the stage getting ready to welcome the winner. Next slide, please. I mentioned that I planted a lot of trees, and here I am doing it. I'm not sure what kind of tree that was, but I planted avocado trees and fir trees and mangroves, just all kinds of trees around the world in a lot of different places. Next slide. This was also taken in Kenya. The lady in the picture with me was my aide, and that's her husband, and Tom, my aide, on the other side. I like this picture because this is the dress that I bought for my trips that has a map of the world on it. So it got a lot of use because no matter where I was able to point somewhere and say, "Oh, here I am." Okay, next slide. This was the bishop who decided he wanted to become a Rotarian, so I was able to pin him and have a celebration for him, honoring his induction into Rotary. Next slide. This is just a fun shot when we were around the pyramids and riding camels and doing all sorts of fun stuff. We decided to take a fun shot. Next slide. This is one of the presidents of Bosnia-Herzegovina. Bosnia-Herzegovina has 3 people who share the presidency. 2 of them represent the Croat side, and 1 represents the Bosnian side, and this is the Bosnian president. Next slide. This picture was taken in Kosovo. That is the district governor and his wife on my right, and 2 Rotarians on the other side. And the dress that I'm wearing was made for me. It's absolutely gorgeous. And they do all of their stitching by hand, which is so incredible to me. These 2 on my right, the immediate past governor and his wife, are currently in Western Pennsylvania because there is a friendship exchange team here with District 7280. So 21 people, Rotarians and their family members, are spending time here in Western Pennsylvania with District 7280, and eventually they're going to end up in Niagara Falls before they head home. Next slide. Next to me in the blue blouse is the president of Kosovo, who happens to be a woman, and other people in the photo on the far right is, my far right is Daniel Tanase, who is on the board of directors, and the lady next to me on that side is Florentina Dushi. She is the district governor-elect, and the woman in the yellow jacket is a member of the president's staff. And the district governor is standing next to the president. Next slide. And of course, there were some places we went that they said you have to do the fun stuff. So when we went to Holland, when we went to the Netherlands, they insisted that we do the fun stuff. So this was a fun stuff picture. Next one. And we were there for King's Day. So no matter what town you were in the Netherlands, everybody celebrates King's Day. So we all had something orange and we put it on and we were out walking around and enjoying the music and the entertainment and celebrating King's Day. The women in this photo are very involved in Rotary Youth Exchange in Holland. Okay, next slide. And this one is another fun stuff. One of the things that you have to do when you're there is eat herring. And so we did it. We did it. Next slide. And these are pictures. We were in the National Gardens in Amsterdam, or in Netherlands, called Keukenhof. It's a tulips everywhere. So youth exchange students, we posed for a picture, but it was in a beautiful garden. Okay, next one. This was a small event that we held in a private gallery. This is actually back in Istanbul. And these 2 people were major donors, not to the foundation, but to the actual peace conference. Next slide. I love this photo because it reminds me of what we were doing. This is in Morocco. Several years ago, Morocco had a devastating earthquake. It leveled places in the mountains. One of the places that was leveled was a school. And the local interactors, 15-year-olds, decided that they were going to help rebuild this school, and they did. The interactors are the ones that went to the local government. The interactors are the ones that went to business and industry. They went to Rotary clubs and they rebuilt this school. 7 classrooms, an elementary side, a room for teachers. You can see there's technology. I just was amazed. And again, it just underscores how much our young people can do if we give them a chance. Go ahead, next one. This was in Estonia. I have no idea why people sit and touch this bowl, but everybody was doing it, so I decided to do it too. Next slide. To get from Estonia to Finland, you have to cross by ferry. So they made arrangements for us to meet the captain, of course. And so this is a picture, meeting the crew. One of the things I loved about that ferry, though, it had different things on different levels. We were on a level that had the lounge and restaurant, but the 4th level was an entire department store. I mean, like department store. You could buy anything at all. So I ended up buying a dress. I bought stuff for my hair. It was just an interesting trip. It took 3 hours, and had enough time to shop and meet people and let's have some lunch while I was there. It's kind of interesting. Okay, next one. Just another shot. This was taken in Sweden when we were at a Rotary event. Another shot, next slide. This was one of my last trips. I went to Italy, and Rotary in Naples is celebrating 100 years, their 100th anniversary. So that was part of the event that I went to. I have to tell you that when I got to Naples, I got there at 9:30 at night. And I had been traveling all day and I was tired. I get to the hotel and they said, "We're going out to dinner." I said, "What? It's 9:30." "Yes, yes, we're going to dinner." So 5 couples and me went to dinner. So I ordered something and I was picking at it. I mean, it was 10 o'clock at night or later. The owner of the restaurant came out and said, "What? You don't like my food?" So I had to just tell him that I was taking my time and I had to really eat a little bit more of it. You just can't win. I mean, people want to serve you the best. They want you to try everything. And so traveling for Rotary is not good for your waistline. Next slide. This is my best story. King Charles met me. And I'll tell you why I tell the story this way. I went to the reception in his honor at Westminster Abbey at the Marlborough House. And I watched him. He walked in and he would shake hands, nod his head, and then move on. Shake hands, nod his head, and move on. So when he got in front of me, I told him who I was and said how delighted we were that he's an honorary member of Rotary. Well, he lit up like a Christmas tree and he started talking about the Rotary Club in London and the mangroves and polio. He knew so much. He knew about the variants, the countries. He probably was with me for 2 minutes and then he moved on. So the next morning, I was in Parliament, their Parliament, which is the House of Commons, and we met one of the Lords, a senator. And my colleague introduced me and he turned around and said, "So you're the president of Rotary?" And we looked at each other and he said, "I was with the king this morning. There was a small group of us. We were planting trees." And then the subject of the environment came up. And then the subject of civic responsibility. And then the subject of Rotary. And he turned around and said to me, "I met the president of Rotary yesterday." So King Charles met me. That's my best story. Next slide. And this was the last board meeting that we held in Calgary. I don't know why Hans Herman, the vice president, was so happy, but he was happy that we finally finished our job. Next slide. And I think this is it. So thank you for listening. I'm really, really interested to see if you have any questions. You've got a previous president of Rotary on the line, so I'm happy to answer anything that you might want to know about.
Stephanie, I think you left a picture out. Something about some rings.
Some rings? Oh,
Yeah, some rings.
yeah, I have that picture. I put it on Facebook, but I didn't include it in this. No.
You brought up Stallworth. I thought, it's
Yeah,
worth at least mentioning that
yeah.
you've got this great picture with these great rings that you showed
When
me in
when
Huntsville.
when John Stallworth came to see me, he brought all of his Super Bowl rings. So I had all of them on my hands. Oh, it was amazing. So, yeah. Questions for me?
Actually, I have one.
Yeah, Deb.
If you could point to any one thing in your Rotary career and say, I'm super proud of doing this, what would it be?
The Rotary Foundation, that's always been my love. Everything I do for the foundation, whether it's a health project or clean water or whatever it is, that's really what makes me proud to be a Rotarian.
You never get to ask someone that's been in your position a question like that. So thank you for sharing that.
Sure, sure.
Stephanie, being in the home district or the home city of John Germ, um, and knowing him real well, I saw how being president was physically taxing on him and Judy. Now that you're done, how do you feel?
Well, I feel excited and happy and blessed that I had an opportunity to do that, but I am waiting for knee surgery. I wore my knees out.
Oh, wow.
Both of them. They're both bone on bone. So, but I'd do it again. It was fantastic. And the number of Rotarians that I got to meet and the projects that I got to see and just, the excitement that people had for what they were doing. Rotary is the best damn organization in the world, and I got to see the best of it. It was fantastic.
Stephanie, this is Chris. I have a quick question for you. Your home club happened to be one of the very first impact clubs that we started in the organization. Can you talk a little bit about how that started and how it's going today?
Yeah, it started because our club was teetering around the same number for years, 33, 34, 32, 35. We just couldn't grow. And so we stopped, and as our action plan suggests, we took a look at ourselves and said, what the heck are we doing? What's wrong here? So we started to talk to people in our community. We talked to the parents of our interactors. We talk to people we have a program for leadership development called Leadership Washington County. We talk to them. We talk to the Chamber of Commerce. We just talked to a lot of people. And we came to find out that there are people who are interested in service, but they are just not interested in going to meetings. So when we heard about the idea of an impact club, we thought we've got to see if this works. So we had a couple of organizational meetings, and on the first night that we inducted members, and remember, they're into our club, they're just in the impact group, we went from being a club of 34 to a club of 58 in one night. So it was worth it. But the other thing that we realized was these people, because they're not going to meetings, aren't learning about Rotary. So we ended up doing something called Pizza, Beer, and Rotary. So PBR. I think it was every other month, we had a night where we went on only 2 Rotarians, only 2. Because if you have more, then you scare them away. Only 2 of us would go, and we'd have pizza, and we'd talk about something in Rotary. And that's how they got to learn what was happening. So we're now on our second version of Impact, because I regret to tell you that when I left and moved to Evanston, the club didn't do very well, because every every idea needs a champion, needs a spark plug, and the spark plug had gone. So now that I'm back and things are back in routine, we're getting Impact 2.0 ready to go forward. But it was a great idea. It is a great idea, and it's a way to engage people in your community who want to do great things, but they're not tied to coming to a meeting. Like maybe they can't get away at noontime to come to a meeting or at dinner time. Maybe they've got, commitments, family, stuff going on. So it's worth investigating to see if that's, a model that would work where you happen to be.
And my last question for you, Stephanie, is I love your shirt, but Jerry, I think she needs a gold wing shirt.
She's wearing one that's just fine. No problem with that at all.
I agree with
As the only
David.
as the only Harley Davidson rider I think that's in this group, I welcome that, and so I appreciate that.
Well, thank you, David.
David and
Harley.
I, Tennessee boys, we ride the Harleys.
Okay.
There you go.
Guys.
Let me ask you, Stephanie, one question. In hearing you tonight, one of the takeaways, or what I heard maybe between the lines, is how well received you were around the world, but maybe not so much in North America, between USA and Canada. And I don't know if if you thought about if I'm reading right, or if that's something that may need to be addressed, that Rotary may not be as well received in our country as it is in other countries.
Well, it isn't being well received. I was well received everywhere I went, but the difference is in other countries, I was Stephanie, Rotary International President World Leader. Here, I'm Stephanie from Monessen, Pennsylvania. That's the difference.
Mm-hmm.
That there's just not the prestige that's available in other places. In some parts of the world, there are waiting lists to get into Rotary clubs because they can't accept because of size or whatever. It's an honor to be elected into an office like district governor. They jockey for opportunities to run for office. Here we're lucky if we get 2 or 3 applicants every year to be governor, and part of that is our fault because previous district governors talk about how hard it was. I didn't get to eat. I got too much mail. I did. Well, no wonder nobody wants to do it. We have to talk about how fabulous of an experience it is. You get to meet every Rotarian in your district. You get to do fabulous things. That's what we need to talk about. And then we'd have more people thinking about it. But people focus on the negative parts, and then we wonder why we can't get people to run for governor.
And I think that's reflected even at the local level. Whenever I was president of our club down here, the brick and mortar club, that was always the outgoing president's end of the year speech, was how difficult it was, and this was the best day of their year of service.
Yeah.
And that was always a takeaway from almost all presidents in the past. And so it does need to be focused on what the positive events are.
I couldn't agree more.
I will say being governor is probably my second best Rotary experience in my lifetime, but it's going to be harder heck to ever beat that youth exchange experience way back when. So,
well, Stephanie, I will testify
the governor
to that.
Was amazing.
That challenge. I'll testify to the challenge because I know in our district in 6780 this year they've been begging for a candidate, and I had this issue in our district last year when I applied and didn't get it, being the only candidate and didn't get it. So that ought to tell you something.
Wow.
Yeah. So Beth Stubbs and I had a lot of discussions about this future as I see it, of people serving in that position. And you're right. In the U.S., I think we've got a challenge that it's got a negative. It's gotten some negative connotations, I think, that need to be overcome. But
Yeah, yeah, and we can do that. I mean, it is. Think about how long you've been in Rotary. There's something about the magic of this organization that's keeping you there. Well, we've got to share that. That's what we have to do.
Stephanie, you've had a couple months rest. You've got
What?
the
I did?
you've had a couple months rest. You've got the knees listed on the books coming up. But after the knees, what's next for Stephanie?
Well, I left office as president and the very next day became a trustee of the Rotary Foundation. So I always say there's no finish line in Rotary. So you just end up, doing other kinds of assignments. So I'm anxious to work on fund development and stewardship and all the things that trustees do. And then in the fourth year, if I'm elected, I'll be the trustee chairperson. So there's a long road ahead of me yet for good things to do in Rotary.
Very cool. Well, we certainly want to thank you for taking the time to join our little club. It was a pleasure hearing from you. I got to tell you, it was a pleasure. You said yes, and you didn't even hesitate when we asked. And so, really thrilled. Your presentation was excellent, and I certainly enjoyed it. And I could tell from the questions and the nods going around the screen here that everybody enjoyed it. So, thank you so much, so very much.
Thank
Okay.
you for asking me. Yeah, it was great. It was good to
Yeah.
see you all.
Before we close, let me see. Rick, have you been here before? And forgive me if I don't remember.
No, I'm a first timer. I joined you guys after the Calgary event. I didn't actually get down to the Calgary event. I was coincidentally riding my bike. But I had heard about the motorcycle group and through some encouragement of one of our other members, Neil Holland, I signed on, and this was my first time taking you guys in. So
Thank you. Glad to have you here today. And before I close, Stephanie, your presentation reminded me of the happy buck that I meant to do earlier tonight. I've done, you guys all know I've done a lot of overseas travel in mission work, primarily in the optometry area, and a lot of different Rotary trips. And I just this morning sent in my money, and the first week of February, I am finally going to get to do a national immunization day for polio, and I will be going to India, and just sent my money in, and so it's a done deal. So I think we're only going to do 4 mission trips this year. We'll see. Anyway, so that's a happy buck. I put in the chat. If you look for the Rotary, if you go to Venmo and look for the Rotary Club of Motorcycling Rotarians, you can find the happy buck thing. Or you can find our Venmo account. And if not, hey, I'll get it from you somewhere, someplace in the world. And David, I don't know if you saw your chat, but I'm asking if you would do the 4-way or our 5-way test tonight.
Sure. All right, as Rotarians, first, is it?
Is it
Let's
the
see here.
truth?
I'm slipping on it just now. First, is it the truth?
Is it the
Second,
truth?
will
Is
it
it
build
fair to all
goodwill and better?
concerned?
It's
Will it
fair to
build
all
goodwill?
concerned. Third, will it build goodwill and better friendship?
Friendships.
And
Fourth,
fourth, will it be beneficial?
Beneficial to all
all
concerned.
concerned.
And what's
And
And
number
fifth,
5?
will it be
fun?
fun?
You betcha. And once in a while, Stephanie, we throw in, will anybody find out? But away we go. Thank you again. Look forward to seeing you guys all real soon. We've got some great other programs coming up. And so stay on track.
Okay.
See y'all later.
Bye,
thank you,
everybody. Have a good
Stephanie.
evening.
Bye.
You're welcome. Bye.
Thank you.